Hello, my super family. Welcome to another episode of Super Sessions with SUEN, and this will be our wealth episode. Today we have the honor of having a very awesome featured guest today. His name is Mr. Daryl James. Daryl.
How y'all doing?
Welcome to our Super Seat.
Thanks for having me.
We are so happy to have you. Daryl is an entrepreneur, he's a spiritual leader, and an author.
I am. All three of those things. That's me, I guess.
Yes, and we're just happy to have you here, Daryl, to talk about wealth, talk about business, legacy building, and really about that book that you have out, I Got Out.
Right.
That is that topic just grabs me. I got out of what?
Right. I got out. Well, first of all, let me tell you, thank you for having me. Look, I appreciate the invite. Anytime you got anything that you're trying to get done, you already know I'm here. So appreciate the invite. But as far as I Got Out is basically, I don't want to call it a memoir or a how-to guide. It's all in one, because it's basically, I'm speaking to my former self in the book. Almost, because I had a 9 to 5, I had a career.
That's when I met you.
Right.
I met you, we went to the same church.
Right.
And you were corporate. Yes.
Right, I was an auditor for 12 years. So I had a career, I had a legitimate career that a lot of people dream and strive to have.
Yes.
Not to toot my own horn, but I was like, I wasn't broke. I was making great money, had a nice 6-figure salary. I traveled for work. The job provided a life for me and my family that a lot of people were like, man, you finna give all this up? You finna give it for what?
For what?
Because a lot of people would kill to be in that position.
Right.
But I was going to work every single day. I'm going to sit in this cubicle, and I felt like I was literally sitting in a prison. I'm like, man, I got this great job, I make great money, I got great benefits, But it's just like, it was more in me. It was more in me that I had to offer the world. And I knew if I would have stayed at that job, I could not have stayed at that job and retired. I would have, my life would have been miserable. I don't care how much money they weren't paying me enough money to sit in there and ride.
When did that trigger in your mind, okay, it's time?
It was the crazy part, I already knew from the beginning when I started the job that this wasn't my end all be all job.
Okay, so you already knew that.
On the inside, I had no idea what I was going to do. Okay. But I knew I wasn't going to retire as an auditor at the place I was at. Yes. So it was just one day, it's crazy because it was just God's timing, honestly. I gave myself 10 years. It took me 12 years before I left. Okay. So obviously my timing is not God's timing. Right. So, but as far as when it was time to leave, it was just, I had to make a decision. And what I've learned over time is it's power in your decision. Yes. God and things align when you make a decision. So whether it's a good or a negative or a positive decision. Yes. When I decide in my mind, God, this is what I'm going to do. Look, some people use the universe. God allows the universe to get in alignment with what you decided to do. So when I made the decision, but it was crazy for me. That was the first time when I actually decided. I'll never forget the actual moment I decided I was going to leave my job. Even though I already knew I was planning on leaving, but the moment that I was like, okay, I'm out of here. Yes. I was in Durham, North Carolina on an assignment. It was probably about 3 or 4 in the morning. I'm in my hotel room. And this is the first and only time I've actually heard an audible voice when God spoke to me. Wow. Because God speaks to you in all kind of ways.
Do you have a story to share? Maybe an experience or information that can transform somebody's life. Maybe you want to grow your business by writing a book. JWG Publishing House has helped hundreds of authors to turn their dream into publishing reality. Publishing a book without the knowledge of the process can be very frustrating. Not to worry, our award-winning team will patiently walk you through the process, from idea to cover to the end product. and get this, you will own 100% of your royalties. We are the only authentic independent publisher you will ever need. So what are you waiting on? Call us today at 561-412-7772. We're waiting to serve you.
Audible voice of God speaking to me. And it was like, the plans in your head, if you work your plan, it's going to work.
You heard that?
I heard it. I heard it as clear as day, as clear as I'm sitting here talking to you.
That's amazing.
And so it was like, boom. From that day, at that moment, it was like, I'm out of here. I got up the next day. I put in my I talked to my supervisor. I let him know I was about to quit. So I put together my whole little leave schedule that I had to use all my leave. And that happened in like December. My last day was January 30th of the next year.
Wow. So you didn't tarry. You weren't waiting. You heard that voice and you made a move.
Look, I had been planning now. So I don't want people thinking I just was. Because anytime you make a decision that's huge, the Bible says you got to count the costs. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't like it was something I had never thought about. It was not like, okay, I just heard this one audible voice this one day. It was something, it had, like I told you, I had been planning this for years. I planned on leaving in 10.
Yes.
So I'm now 12 years in, and it's finally like, okay, it's time.
Yes.
It's time. So boom, I made the leap, and here we are.
That is like a supernatural experience, like hearing God's voice,
right,
and just acting on it. I mean, that is amazing. So I just want our listeners to know you can hear the voice of God.
You can. And to get back to the original question, the book. So I made that decision like almost about 4 years ago.
Yes.
So the book is basically speaking to the mindset of a person that's in my the position I was 4 years ago. So I'm debating on, should I leave this job? Mm-hmm. I want to leave the job. I know it's more in me. How do I do that? So the book basically talks about the mindset, because I believe the mind is the key to your success.
Yes.
So if your mind, you can have all the right tools, but if your mind is in the wrong place, you won't be successful. So the book is really to the 9 to 5, the person in the 9 to 5 or in a career that's trying to become and take that leap of faith into becoming a full-time entrepreneur. Is basically a step-by-step guide on how to think, how to process information, how to view things, how to view yourself, those types of things. And it gives you tips on just how to think like an entrepreneur, things that you're gonna need as an entrepreneur. So it's wisdom I've gained from my OGs, my mentors, and wisdom that I've just experienced over the past 4 years. It's all in the book, and I think it's definitely beneficial. Anybody that's trying to lead a 9 to 5, you definitely need to go get the book I Got Out. It's called A Transition from Career to Destiny. So
that is amazing, and I know a lot of people in that position right now that want to just capitalize on that journey to be an entrepreneur. Like, they're not feeling like a good fit in their 9 to 5. It's stressful. Like, you just know, okay, I'm destined for more. So this is a great tool. This is a great book to get, guys. If you're in that position, get Daryl's book to help you with that journey.
Right.
Yeah. So as we move along with our session here, Daryl, from this experience, you had that supernatural moment, hearing God's voice. I mean, that's, and going on this journey from 9 to 5 to now a businessman, spiritual leader. What would you say is your superpower? Have you found it through this journey?
Yes, I think everybody has a superpower. I believe everybody has a superpower, and your superpower is tied to your authenticity. Authenticity. But when I say authenticity, I don't think a lot of people understand where it comes from. I believe our real authenticity comes from the person that God designed and created us to be.
Okay.
So we were all put on this earth for a purpose.
Yes.
And once you can learn to live a life authentic to that, that's when your superpower puts the cape on and it shines.
Okay.
You become Superman or Superwoman once you learn to live in that. And that's how you walk by faith on a day-to-day basis. We hear the scripture all the time. We We walk by faith and not by sight. It should be a faith walk. It should be a day-to-day faith walk when we go to church. We hear that all the time. But the way that we do that, the way that I like to explain it when we break it down, and how do we do that on a day-to-day basis? How do we walk by faith? Is literally we understand who we are, who God created us to be. So that's my goal every time. Every morning I wake up, my goal is to get me closer to where God created me to be and where He called me to go. And it takes faith to do that.
Yes.
It takes faith to do that. That's why the scripture says it's impossible. Without faith, it's impossible to please God. And that's how we know we're pleasing God, is when we're doing what God created and designed us to do.
Yes.
So once I know that, once I've discovered who God designed and created me to be, and now I get up and I live a life of faith, because it's gonna take faith.
Okay.
To me, that's as simple as I can break it down.
So your superpower is?
Authenticity.
Authenticity.
Being my superpower is being who God designed and created me to be. Yes. Whatever that is. And for me, and if for the listeners out here listening, I will break it down to help you kind of understand. For me, my superpower is, if you hang around me long, I inspire people, what's the word I'm looking for? I know if you hang around me long enough, you're going to leave me feeling like, dang, I can do this.
Yes.
Whatever your this is,
yeah.
you're gonna leave me feeling like, man, I feel like I inspire hope in people. And hope is a powerful, powerful thing. So I understand I understand the gifts and the tools that God has blessed me with. Like, I have the ability to go in a room and connect with individuals and bring people together to accomplish a bigger goal. Like, I have that huge ability. And once I learned that about myself, I now utilize that in my business.
Okay.
So I can go in a room, let's just say I go in a room full of people I have no idea, I know nobody in the room.
Yes.
Anytime I go to networking events a lot for my job.
I see that.
I go to
By the way, you have to tell us what your business is.
Oh, my business is, I own a commercial and residential construction company. So that's what I do. I have a residential side and I have a commercial side. The commercial side, I do a lot of commercial. If anybody knows anything about commercial construction, it's a lot of who knows who, relationship building, that type of thing. So as an entrepreneur, you're not going to be successful if you can't add value to other people.
Okay.
So as a new entrepreneur, I talk about it in my book, it's a mindset, it's a heart. It's a heart thing. A lot of people, when we first get started as entrepreneurs, we all looking for help. Because we need help.
We do.
We all need help, and we all looking for help. That people help people that can help them. That can help them. Because we forget it's called business.
Yes.
It's called business. Business means it's a mutual transaction between two people. You giving me something,
right.
I'm giving you something. So when you have the aspect, when you have the heart and the mindset of how can I add value to what you have going on, people are way more apt to help you, to want to help you, because I have that mindset. And then people just are attracted to you because I'm not just in here, give me,
right.
give me. I'm looking for, man, who can I help? I don't care. And that's what you got to realize as an entrepreneur, especially when you first starting out. It may not always be money. Value is not always money. I can add value to what you got going on based on my skill set and my time and my abilities. I don't always have to give you money per se. So when you go into a situation with the mindset of how can I add value to somebody, people are more apt to help you when you say, well, look, I see this is what you got going on. This how I can help you do what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, man, okay, cool.
Yeah.
We all looking for help now. What you need?
I really wish we all had that mindset, Daryl.
A lot of people don't.
Some people
You'll be surprised.
Yeah, they're just receivers or just want to get.
They want to get, they want to take by any means necessary. And it's just like, I tell my young guys all the time that I talk to and mentor, we don't play to win the game. Most people don't. When they hear that, they like, "What you mean we don't play to win the game?"
I was just thinking that it's a game you want to win, right?
We don't play the. We don't. You do want to win, but the way that we play the infinite game. I don't play to win the game. I play to stay in the game. That's two totally different mindsets.
That is.
Because if you stay in the game, you're going to win. You're going to automatically you got to be winning to stay in the game.
Yes.
So, because people that play to win the game, they'll do anything.
Yeah. No integrity.
They'll steal, no integrity. They'll steal from you. They'll mess over you. They'll step on you trying to climb the corporate ladder as per se.
Yes.
But they'll burn bridges. And that's not how you stay in the game. So you make decisions. When you're making decisions as an entrepreneur, you play the infinite game. We play to stay in the game. I don't want to just win this quarter.
Yeah.
I want to still be in the game 20 years from now.
You want to be in the game for as long
Forever.
as you can.
Right.
Live,
I don't want to
right?
make $3 million this year and then I'll never make a dime again for the rest of my life. So you gotta have, once you have that mindset, you make certain decisions and you maneuver in a certain way.
Yes.
So and it's the spirit behind everything that we do. And going back to my point of your superpower being authenticity, is so many people and individuals that miss out on opportunities because they're not operating as their authentic selves.
So they're trying to be somebody else.
Real recognize real. we all heard the saying. Real recognize real.
Yes.
So the people that are meant to help you do what you were called and designed to do, they're going to connect to your spirit or your energy or your vibe.
That's a big one.
Whatever term we want to call it.
Yes.
But when you're not being your authentic self, your vibe and your energy is off, and it's not going to connect with the person that's meant to help you accomplish what you're trying to accomplish. Wow. So that's why it's so important. Again, going back to your superpower, authenticity, we miss out and we forfeit so many things trying to be people that we're not, or because we just don't know who we are.
Yes.
Simple as that.
Man, so there's so much tips here, Super Nation, my super family. I hope you're really resonating with what Daryl is saying. You know, you got to be authentic to who you are, who God created you to be. Right. So I have my last question for you, Daryl. Okay. And it's pretty packed. So for the 9-to-5ers out there that want to transition to be entrepreneur. I'm not even just an entrepreneur, a successful, impactful, influential, God-driven entrepreneur. What tip do you have to give them? Like, what's something they can put in action right now? Like, okay, I heard Daryl drop this tip on me. Let me put that in action right now, and I could start changing that mindset, or aligning with what God has for me. Like, what can you really tell them? Because that's what we want to do. We want to empower people with a tool, a tip, something that they could use on a daily basis. I
got you. Yes. And I can answer that in twofold. It's a twofold question. Well, I can give you two answers to I believe what everybody that's trying to take that leap of faith. Yes. And make that decision to become a full-time entrepreneur is you got a plan. And you got to self-develop. Okay. Self-development is probably the biggest key to becoming a successful entrepreneur. That's the key. We want to be successful. Yes. We don't just want to say we own a business. We ain't making no money. Right. We want to be successful at what we got going on. And you will never grow your business bigger than you grow yourself. Woo. As simple as that. There it is. As simple as that. I felt that. As simple as that. You'll be surprised how many people start a business, they never do any type of self-development. They never take any courses about their industry that they're in. Mm-hmm. They never do any self-development as far as their spirituality. Because the mindset, the obstacles that you face as an entrepreneur, trust me, if you're not spiritually grounded, and your mind isn't where it needs to be, you're going to fold every single time. You're going to fold every single time. So self-development is key when it comes to becoming and the thing about self-development, which was hard for me, the hard part about self-development for me was we're so conditioned when we're working a 9-to-5. Any work that I do, I want to get paid for it like immediately. Yeah. So I'm I'm gonna work these 2 weeks. My direct deposit gonna hit on that Friday. But as an entrepreneur, we gotta get out of that type of thinking and realize that every single time we do any type of work, we're not necessarily gonna see immediate gratification from it.
That's tough.
That's hard. I promise you. That was one of the hardest things I had to get over because I hated sitting down and reading this book and learning how to do this and getting on the phone and talking to this person. And I'm like, man, it had been 4 weeks. I ain't made a dime yet off of none of this work I'm doing.
Right.
None of this work. But that's the self-development piece, and that's where your faith come in at. When Noah was building the ark.
Yes.
He's like, man, Lord, I'm building this ark. I ain't seen a drop of rain yet. So it's the same thing. You gotta understand. I might not get a physical paycheck right now for this work, but my paycheck is on the inside right now. The dividends they paying off on my mental space, my spirituality. I'm building callus on my hands to be able to handle and go where I'm trying to go. And eventually the work is going to end up because I'm laying the foundation. That's what you're doing. I'm laying the foundation. So many people want to build, they want $1 million business. And if they put $1 million business on the foundation they built, it's going to collapse.
Right.
You haven't done any other work.
You got to get that foundation solid.
You haven't done any other work to set a solid foundation. So self-development is huge. Self-development is key. And then planning. Nothing happens by accident. You'll be surprised.
Coincidence.
It's not a coincidence. The most successful person you know did not become that successful by coincidence or on accident.
Okay.
They planned to be that successful. I plan to be where I'm at right now.
Yes.
So you got to have a plan.
Yes.
You got to have a plan. That doesn't mean your plan going to be set in concrete or in stone. That you going to have you need to be flexible enough to make adjustments. Any smart entrepreneur knows when to make an adjustment, when they need to tweak something here.
Gotta be flexible.
But I do have a plan in place that I'm trying to execute.
Okay.
Most people just say, oh, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to open up a store. I know how to bake cookies, so I'm going to just start baking cookies. And I'm going to just tell people, and I'm going to just put online that I sell cookies.
And then, does that plan have to be written out? It can't be in your head, right?
I think it needs to be written out. I believe the scriptures say, write the vision and make it plain.
Yeah.
And I believe in principles. So that's a principle. Write the vision, make it plain. Why? So for those who going to read it, they'll be able to actually execute it.
Yes.
They say run with it, so they'll actually be able to execute it. So anytime you're trying to accomplish something, you want to bring it out of eternity, which is in your head.
Okay.
And bring it into the natural realm and put it on paper.
Yes.
And that way, you have something to hold yourself accountable to. Accountability. And you have something, you know what you're executing. Because trust me, as an entrepreneur, especially when you take that leap, you don't know what you're doing. I don't care how much research or how much studying you've done. It's just parts and things of entrepreneurship that you don't know until you experience them.
Yes.
Period. So don't beat yourself up too much about it. Extend yourself some grace on that front. But you got to have some type of plan in place that's taking you toward where you're saying you're trying to go. Because you're not going to just stumble upon being successful. Oh, now I got this $10 million business and I just happen to fall upon it. It don't happen like that.
You got a plan. Okay, super family. So that was tip from Daryl. You have to plan and you have to work on yourself. Self-development. You got to do that to stay in the
game.
Stay in the game.
Play the infinite game.
The infinite game. All right, Daryl, while we wrap up our session, please tell our audience, where can we reach you?
You can reach me on all social media platforms. That's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I don't have a YouTube page. I'm on Threads. We know the new Threads. I was never on Twitter, crazy, but I'm on Threads.
Okay.
At Life with D. James.
At Life with D. James. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, there's a link on my pages. You can buy the book there. I appreciate the support. You can find the book on Amazon or any other Kindle, all your reading platforms. You can find the book. I got out.
Is it on Audible?
No, it's not on Audible.
Oh, okay.
I don't have an Audible version for it. I do have an ebook version.
Okay.
And I have hard copies of it.
Okay. All right, looking forward to the Audible part because I love my Audible books when I can't get to reading.
We'll get there.
I'm sure you'll get there.
We'll
yes.
Get there.
Well, it was such a pleasure to have you in our super seat this evening, and we really appreciate everything you have to share. And I just want to thank our audience for joining us. Please keep being inspired, motivated, and empowered to show up as the best super version of yourself. And what Daryl said, I mean, it's sticking in my mind right now. Stay in the
game.
That game. Stay in the game, guys. The infinite game.
The infinite game. That's it.
Thank you.
Do you have a story to share? Maybe an experience or information that can transform somebody's life. Maybe you want to grow your business by writing a book. JWG Publishing House has helped hundreds of authors to turn their dream into publishing reality. Publishing a book without the knowledge of the process can be very frustrating. Not to worry, our award-winning team will patiently walk you through the process, from idea to cover to the end product. And get this, you will own 100% of your royalties. We are the only authentic independent publisher you will ever need. So what are you waiting on? Call us today at 561-412-7772. We're waiting to serve you.